Good morning. Good morning, everybody. All 18 of you that are here right now. Slow start this morning. Good to see you. Welcome. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. A very small and dedicated crew woke up this morning. At any rate, let's get down to the business at hand. Drink it if you got it. Today, I have my White Straight Republican Male coffee cup. How else can I piss you off today, it says. Well, good to see y'all. How are you? How are you? Well, we're back on Wednesday again. 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row. I don't see 500 people clamoring to get in. Maybe you're getting tired of me. I think about that sometimes, but maybe this earlier time cuts down the number of people who jump right in. But it's growing, it's coming. 41 people. So, if nothing else, I'll consider this a morning coffee with my closest friends. But somehow, I stay encouraged. By the end of the day, between the live viewers and the people watching the replays, it usually gets over 1,000 views. Well, that's pretty good. Not bad at all. When I consider and compare it to the live streams of some of the other carnivore people. Wow. I made a mistake this morning. I don't know why I punished myself, but I did turn on the news. And one of the things I saw on the news this morning, and I almost hate to talk about this because I don't know if YouTube is still as sensitive about talking about the jabs. Used to be that it really hurt you. They would really limit your exposure. But it was on the national news this morning that the CDC based on RFK Jr.'s insistence, has said that children and pregnant women are going to be removed from the list of those recommended to get the jab. And you all know what I'm talking about when I say jab. Well, that seems like a pretty good idea, considering all of the things that have been coming out about the long-term effects of fooling with our genetics in the form of mRNA manipulation, mRNA, messenger RNA manipulation. I understand what that is and what it does, and that's why it scares me. Most people don't know what it stands for, certainly don't understand the organic chemistry, the biological chemistry of how RNA affects the building of proteins. I've accepted the fact that most people don't find it as fascinating as I do and have no real desire to get deep in the weeds of it because of maybe a good football game on, but that's not me. But what didn't surprise me about this announcement was the opposition immediately from the medical community. They put this lame female pediatrician on the news to tell us all the reasons why we need to keep jabbing infants with genetically manipulated stuff that could affect them for their entire life. When is that C disease really that much of a problem anymore for young infants? How many young children are actually having a problem with this? And when the numbers say that they're not, of course they are quick to credit the jab. So I'm rooting for RFK. I'm rooting for the fact that they don't find some liberal judge somewhere to overcome somebody in a podunk town in West Virginia, some liberal judge. Somebody files a lawsuit. The liberal judge says, no, they can't do that. And the children have to, because of this guy, start receiving their jabs again and possibly screwing them up for life. Just sick, sick system we have. And that was my big takeaway, besides the morning crime report from the morning news this morning. Now, I'm thinking to myself this morning, I say, Mitch, I say, what? I say, Mitch, maybe you shouldn't talk about negative things on here. Maybe you should be like Kelsey and just be positive, 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 happy, happy, happy all the time. And I suppose I should, and I try to do that. And sometimes the machinations of the human race, the ridiculousness of their ideas and their propaganda just gets under my skin. I know so much of it's affected my life, especially this recent head injury, brain surgery, and stroke thing. I keep looking back at ways that might have gone better, but it didn't, and I accept that. But I'm really a positive person. If I wasn't, I would not be recovering from this stroke. I would be staying in bed all day, just feeling sorry for myself, waiting to die. So I am a positive person, and one of the things that I think is important, and this is the talk I had with myself, I think it's important, is that we're here in the morning. We can talk about the stupidity. We can talk about the reality, the common sense of it all. But most importantly, we're all in a small group of people that kind of have seen the light. And everything we do goes against everything that everybody tells us to do, and they all think we're crazy. So the reason I think most of us come here is everybody likes to be among like-minded people where they feel accepted and they're not thought of as lunatics bent on self-destruction by eating meat and fat. in that respect, Kelsey has got the right idea. Got to be positive, positive, positive. I've never heard Kilts complain about a thing. Good for him. I think that I need to make sure that we all realize that the reason we're here is to answer questions, get motivated to continue doing what we're doing, help us fight through the doubt, the criticism that we get from everybody, from our doctors to our spouses and children for doing what we're doing. The warnings that we're killing ourselves. We know better. We know better. I'm going to put out a video either today or tomorrow. And I think one of the things that we use to convince ourselves that indeed we do know better is continuing to be aware and learning new things about the origins of all of the misinformation that's thrown in our face every day, right on up to the very doctor that we rely on to help us maintain our health. They've all got it wrong, and they don't know it. It's not that most of them know it and they're evil. They don't know it. This has been going on so long that it has become truth. You know, they often say a lie told for long enough becomes the truth. Well, that's what's happened. Michael Seeley Sr., my good friend here in Melbourne, came knocking on my door on my birthday. And he brought me a birthday present, which was very nice of him. He brought me this book, Eat Well and Stay Well, by Ansel and Margaret Keyes. I didn't even know this book existed. It's a thick book. And I haven't gotten very deep into reading it yet, but the little bit of reading I have is eye-opening. Since this guy was a major player in how screwed up we are now, a book by him, and this book is almost like brand new, pristine, but it was printed in 1959. That's 65 years ago, 1959, before most of the diet hard hypothesis, before most of fat is bad, cholesterol is bad. He and his wife wrote a pretty thick book. Now, 2/3 of this book is a cookbook. A cookbook. It's fascinating to read, and I'm going to make a video and talk about some of the basic misconceptions that we know are false, that are in this book, and you'd be surprised to know just how do I say this? Small the anti-meat stuff is in here. He's even talking about eating frogs in this book. A tremendous amount about his adventures and living in Italy and the foods he ate. But it's almost clear to see that Ansel Keys didn't have the same views in 1959. And I'm going to talk about some of that in this video. I hope you find it interesting. The purpose of these videos that are a little negative and try to dispel the misconceptions that have led to, over the years, and a lot of years at that, the current state of our medical system and nutritional advice is important to us because it gives us clarity and confidence in telling people who give us propaganda as advice that they're wrong and actually know that they're wrong and eliminate that self-doubt that so many of us have when we say, am I really doing the right thing here? Mitch had a stroke. I better stop carnivore. That's how we think. One carnivore has a stroke, and 100,000 people on the standard American diet have strokes at the same time. It must be carnivore. Interesting. At any rate, I could go on and on, but that's not why we're here. So if you have any questions for me that you think would help you in your journey, things that are nagging you and you're looking for ways to gain more confidence that, no, this is not a radical fad diet. This is the way the human animal evolved to eat. And that's known beyond a doubt. The proof is there. Back millions of years. You have to look just at the migration patterns of humans on the planet, the weather patterns, the geological continental shift patterns, and the evidence is there that will tell you, besides the stable isotope analysis of human remains that we found, that will tell you without a shadow of a doubt that most of our ancestors for the past couple million years had no 7-Elevens around the corner. They had no produce departments in Publix. They only had meat and fat, and they could scrounge for some horrible resemblances of fruit and vegetables, which were hard to find if they couldn't get the meat. And that's what our species transformed to after millions of years of adapting to it from the vegetarian diet that our ancestors, and a lot of you religious people give me hell for this, but our ancestors are the great apes that lived 7 and 8 million years ago in the trees of Africa. Well, we came out of the trees necessitated by all of the changes in climate, geology. When the food supply got scarce, we had to start eating meat or we would have died off as a species. If you really dig into the evidence, you'll find out it's all explainable. And the point of this is, the more of this that you know and believe, the less worrying you'll do that you're not killing yourself like everybody else is telling you. It makes you kind of cynical when you really know the truth, and the more and more you see all of these so-called educated people, arrogant people, the medical community, the amount of money that's spent and made, and new hospitals all the time, you will just, it's beyond belief, and that'll help you succeed. And that's the reason the few of us that come to these things every morning, is to make sure that we succeed. Share our stories with others. So it's about time to say hello. Well, we've been at this for 20 minutes so far. Mary M. was first at 8 o'clock yesterday evening. Wow, Mary, how are you? Smoothie 420, best wishes for a pleasant evening. Lori was here last night. Lady June, 1:26 a.m., but that's over in the United Kingdom. Jem is here. I remember it. She wants to be called Jem, but her name is Julie. Good morning, Julie. Or Jem. I'll call you Jem. But I remembered. I wanted you to know that I remembered my 78-year-old brain, fueled by carnivore, remembered your name from yesterday. Umaira Jamal, how are you? It's me, Umaira. Welcome. Welcome. And there's Mike Sealy Jr. Michael, good morning from Tampa Bay. At 8 o'clock this morning, I chimed in and said, welcome, welcome. Now, it's about this time that I usually put my Buy Me a Coffee link in there. I do that. Sometimes nobody buys me a coffee. Sometimes somebody does. I have to ask. I have told you all that I am not ashamed of the fact that I got to make a few bucks at this or I can't do it. So I look at this as, and I put the link in the chat, and I put a preamble to that link. It says, I appreciate your support. I have 44,000 subscribers. I get 1,000 people watch this video every. If 10% of them somehow manage to give me a buck, that'd be $100. That would be one hell of a lot more than I'm making at this now, and would be very helpful. It doesn't take a lot, but what I find and what I see is the same people that keep supporting me, and I almost feel guilty that there's maybe, with a rare occasion, 10 or 15 people that buy me these coffees. I so appreciate y'all, but I know that everybody out there appreciates this. Sometimes I say, if they don't appreciate it, why the hell do I do it? Why do I work this hard? I spend money doing this too. If I can't get somebody to throw me $1 or $2, what do I care about them? But I do, and I do enjoy it, and I don't want to quit. So I put these links in there. I put my Amazon links in there. You know, please, not a lot. I'm like the guy that brings you your car from the parking lot. A buck here, a buck there. It adds up, and none of it is enough to hurt anybody. And if you don't want to put up any money, use my Amazon links, please. It's pathetic, the amount of money I've made from Amazon last month. It's pathetic. Sometimes less than $1 a day. Hard to believe. Anyway, Ketone Seeker sent me 5 gift memberships. Thank you very much, Ketone Seeker. Let's see who was awarded those memberships. Robert Wall received a gift membership. Cordelia did. Dancing Dragonfly, North Carolina. Ricky Lee, great, received a gift membership. And Joyce B. Super. All got a 1-month trial. We have a live stream coming up tomorrow night. Please, hope you enjoy it. Hope you join. We got over 100 members there. These are the inner sanctum. I think I still haven't gotten up to 100 people watching this video. Maybe I'm too crass and commercial. I don't know. I'll just keep doing it till everybody goes away, and I'll shut it down and say, that was fun while it lasted. Or it'll grow, because I like to think we all enjoy it. We all enjoy it. At least I know a core, small group of people enjoy it. Where was I? After that really crass commercial break. Wayne Herman. Good morning, Wayne. How you doing? And Michael Pregler, good morning. I said, I hope you have a great day. Peter is here, Papa Carnivore, and Rick Charger Mopar, who will be joining us next Sunday. Not this Sunday, Thomas. Target Prime Rib is going to be my guest next Sunday. Rick. We all know Rick. And the ducks and the cats will be chiming in at 8:30 Sunday morning to join us here. Anybody else that wants to be a guest on a Sunday morning show, just email me, and we'll start lining you up. I just got lined up to be on Kiltz's Zoom call from his Kiltz's Mighty Kingdom in September. That's how far out they are. September. Of course, they got Alia, who's administering that thing beautifully and keeping him busy as hell with all kinds of guests. I pretty well prefer to do it solo most days, but one day a week I want to have a guest. And then we have our panel on the live stream. I'd like to see more people, different people chime in there, but you can lead a horse to water, they say. Lady June says, good afternoon. Over in England, it is. And Claudia Burkick is here. Good morning, all. And Aaron. Hi, Aaron. Good to see you. Booby Goats. Couch Potatoes waving at us. And Lori's here. Man, I feel like a misfit. Yes, I so appreciate all the misfits out there. Claudia says, got my coffee and waiting. We're now up to 8:29. Rick chimed in. And the winner today is Tina. Tina Schweigerath. Hey, Tina, how are you? You won. You didn't win anything other than praise, but right on the bell, followed by Mark C. Sandy Blythe. How you doing, Sandy? Lady June came back. Patty Molden, Rick again, everybody hitting things. And Dr. Nelson is with us. Good morning, Mitch, and good morning, everyone, he says. Hello, Nelson. How are you, man? I hope you're still here because this was at 8:30. Wayne Herman. Smoothie. Sandy Blythe again. Let's try to get past 8:30. All right, Michael Pregler at 8:31. Rainy and 55. Yuck. Yuck. We've had a few thunderstorms here, but 55 is gone and forgotten until this fall. The lowest we'll probably get here in Florida, especially at the beginning of June, which is coming up, is around 70 degrees. And that thus is a cool night. Lizzie's here. How you doing, Lizzie? And Barry Simon. Hi, Barry. Good to see you. Good to see you. Nancy Arietta, love the coffee cup. Yeah, people give me these things. I think my daughter gave me this one. This is a great cup that it offends a lot of people. Almost half the people in this country are offended by this cup. Fortunately, a whole lot more or a whole lot less of the people that watch this stream are offended by this cup, if anybody. So I don't hesitate to say it. White, straight, Republican male, how else can I piss you off today? That's a commentary on our judgmental society. Tanya Kitchen Witch, how are you, sweetie? Never get tired of you, Mitch. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Lizzie's Mama Bear is here. Hi, Mama Bear. How are you? And Carol P. says, hello from Georgia. Hiya, Carol. Rick says, wasn't Saladino at the White House? You know, a lot of the influencers are going up there and having meetings with RFK Jr. and he's not a carnivore. He certainly doesn't want to ruin the agriculture business. They have terrible financial situations. So I don't know for a fact if Saladino went, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I wouldn't be surprised. Melissa B., how you doing from Texas? Just Susie's thoughts. Good morning, Mitch. As my Scottish hubby likes to say, pissing doing. Right. And Anybody I didn't say it's Thomas. How you doing, Thomas? Good to see you. Jem says it's still dark out. Oh, I guess you're over there in California. I appreciate the effort to get here. I appreciate the effort. Questions? Anybody with any questions? If not, for a second or two, I'll say hi to everybody. Richard Williams from Copper Hill, Tennessee. Good morning, Richard. Good to see you. Who haven't I? Well, I got I see most of the same people chatting away. Scott Elliott's here. Hi, Scott. Good morning to you. And Roger Dodger. Roger says, admire your work efforts and dedication. Want you to know that we all with you and appreciate you. Thank you, Roger. Thank you so much. And I appreciate all of you as well. Claudia Burkick says, I absolutely love this community and everything I've learned, and I'm still learning. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you very much. Brandon's Garden Stories, The Power of Negative Thinking, is a YouTube video by Robert Greene, and I agree with it so much. We define ourselves by stating out loud the things we hate or disagree with. Yeah, that's true. And that's not a healthy thing. Positive attitude, the power of a positive attitude is very healing. But you have to find a balance between walking around like a hippie flower child, singing Kumbaya, and understanding the real dangers and pitfalls that are out there and accept the reality of the world and find a balance that works for you where you can look at the negative things, analyze the negative things without actually becoming negative yourself. I try to do that. So overall, I consider myself a positive person. Problem is there's 10 times more bad news than good news out there. And I don't just mean what you see on TV. I mean the state of things out there, the problems people face, the challenges people face. There are, by an order of magnitude, more people struggling in this country with something or other, whether financial problems, romantic problems, health problems, than there are people that are just, and this is a proverb I use, happier than pigs in shit. We can't ignore all that. Homeless people, can't ignore it, but we can't let it turn us into such a negative person. So keeping those negatives at an intellectual level is healthy for us. It's tough. It's tough because we are exposed to all of this reality and news everywhere we turn these days, between the commercials for drugs and stuff that has sugar in it. Roger says, Carnivore changes my life, Mitch, and I have followed you from the very beginning for strength. Wow, thank you. Motivation and those challenging days, and you have done for me, and I may say for all of us. That means more to me than anything. Thank you so much, Roger. I appreciate the kind thought. We're still saying hello to everybody. Up to 8:46. All right. Only 20 minutes behind. It's easier. We have 101 people finally broke 100. Thomas says, I started fasting, but I don't know for how long. Well, going to see you someday, Thomas. That's 5 days from now, 4 or 5 days. We'll see if you're still fasting. Lady June says, for me, carnivore is like I died and went to heaven. The only thing I miss are crunchy things. Pork rinds, June, pork rinds. Pork rinds can be the savior of crunchy, but there's not a lot of crunchy. How we ever, as a human race, got started on this quest and addiction to crunchy things, I haven't given much thought. Somewhere in our past, our ancestors must have come across something crunchy that was plentiful and somehow got addicted to it. There's other things that are addictive besides the chemicals in food. Mouth feel, you know what that means. That's a term that they use. You hear it in the culinary world, mouth feel. And I guess crunchy is part of that. It can be very desirable and very important in recipes. We'll leave it at that. I'm looking through this. Brenda McIntyre is here. Good morning, everyone. Don't let your meat loaf. Thank you, Brenda. That is incredible advice. Incredible advice. None of us want our meat to be loafing. Thomas says, I love pork rinds. There you go. Diane Wardrop, good morning, Diane. How are you? Good morning to you. And a cosmic jester with stars. I like that. If it's an ischemic stroke, yeah, methylene blue has shown to help a lot with nerves. I've seen that there, and I appreciate it, Jester. There are no shortage of people that have responded or commented on things with 30 or 40, at least I'm up to, different types of supplements. Every one of them swears you got to take it. I resist complicating my life with these things because I still believe in the food. And I believe in the food first. And then the things I supplement are the things I know that I need that may not be in the food because of things that have happened to manufacturing, to the soil, and I'll supplement those. But I like to keep it very simple. If not, I would have 20 bottles of supplements stacked up and have to hire an accountant to administer both the timing and the dosages of them because it would be so complicated. And it's not just methylene blue. It's creatine and so many other things that people say, you have to take it. I'm doing fine without any of that. I'm recovering from my stroke. My nerves are recovering. Even in my right leg, which was completely dead, it seemed. So many of the nerves are reconnecting. The feeling is coming back. My walking is better. So maybe methylene blue would help a little bit. I just don't. I want to keep it as simple as I can. So many of these things that we try to do to fix something just make it worse. But thank you for thinking of me, and don't let the recommendations stop. I wish that I had found some miracle thing that I could make a video about, but then I'd just be one of the crowd with another video about some other miracle thing. May or may not work. But I don't want to I just don't want to live out of a pill bottle. I'm sorry. Bacon and eggs. Bacon and eggs. Take electrolytes and 2 baby aspirin a day. That's it. I've cut back on the vitamin D now because of all the advice I got not to take K2. K2 is a coagulant. Of course, you'd have another stroke. And in the next video, the next comment says, no, K2 it doesn't coagulate your blood. That's a wives' tale. The problem, there's too much information out there. Most of it is just somebody's opinion, unsubstantiated by any real evidence, because, let's face it, there's no real evidence for any of this stuff. We're still busy trying to prove to the world that eating meat is good for you. And they refuse to believe that too. Mike Seeley says, oh, thank you, Mike Sr. I'm glad you find the book interesting and educational. Can't wait for the video on the book. Well, my video today is going to be just a quick first impression about one point in the book. And then over time, I'm going to deep dive. But there's one misconception in that book, which in my opinion, basically shows that the reality, the grasp of reality, and the ignorance on certain subjects, and misquoting the reality of those subjects in this book means just like a witness in court who lies. Once you find a flaw in somebody's logic and thinking that led them to their conclusions, you have to ignore all the rest of it. Throw it out. And that's what I'm going to talk about. It's not going to be a long video, but I stumbled on it, and I stumbled on it fairly quickly in just skimming through the book. So God knows how many more of those glaring misconceptions about the reality of the evolution of the human species. I'll talk about it in the video, because otherwise it would monopolize the conversation here today. But thank you for the book. Thank you for the book. I really appreciate that. Here is where Ketone Seeker, I like that name, gifted the 5 memberships. Thank you very much. Hope to see all those people. Hope to see all those people. Or is it? Is that a new one? No, that was way back. Also, if you see over here on the right, Roger, thank you, Roger, so much. $10 super chat says, thank you, Mitch. Roger, it was very, very, very nice of you. I don't see any coffees yet. Oh, Barry. Oh, Barry. God bless you. Look at that. Look at that. Barry Simon bought me 20 coffees. And then he says, you said $100. That should do it. Man, like I said, it's the same people. The same people all the time. And I so appreciate that. I mean, I almost feel a little bit guilty. Barry, that's incredible of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. Where was I? I'm verklempt. I'm getting, as Mike Meyer used to say, I'm getting verklempt. Any of you who follow that will know what that means. All right, let me get back to the bottom of this. I want this chat to keep rolling on that side. I'm looking at the old chat on the right here. Everybody's saying it. I'm trying to see what the current topic is. A lot of people chiming in. Let's see. Let's see. Cosmic Jester says, encouraging its quality over quantity, never concentrated on the numbers of a stream. No, I know that. You're right. You're absolutely right. And I know that the core group of people that I got here are irreplaceable in this world. To assemble even 100 people that are so dedicated to something is gratifying. And that's why I'm, at this point, still adding days back until I get it close to almost every day. I'm up to 4 days a week now with this morning coffee thing. I just love doing it. I enjoy it. I like it a little better earlier. I liked being done by 10 o'clock yesterday. That was nice. That was nice. So thank you so much again for the encouragement, Jester. Appreciate it. Oh, hey, Luis Flores, I got the frying pan yesterday. Yeah, wow. Those frying pans are great. They're great. That's the Mueller 12-inch. You see it in all my cooking videos. I use it every day. Cook all my bacon and eggs in it. Yesterday, I had some of those salmon fillets that I talked about that I got frozen, individually wrapped and vacuum sealed, wild caught salmon. They come 2 pounds to a bag, but there's about 6 or 7 fillets in there that are individually wrapped. I thought out 2 of them, fried them up in that pan in butter last night, had them for dinner. So I am completely off the carbs again, completely. Been almost a week since I had anything that wasn't just bacon, eggs, fish, or beef. And I'm back to feeling so much better, so much better. It may just be me. We're certainly not all the same, but that little ice cream adventure, along with the hospital stay re-addicting me to sugar, really screwed me up for a couple of months. And I had to finally just put my foot down and go back to what I did that carried me 2.5 years without a gram of carbs or sugar. Yeah, I know there's a fraction of carbs in eggs and meat, but not counting the stuff that comes in eggs and meat. Not as far as I know, according to the nutrition labels on the bacon, not a gram. I'm sure a tiny fraction, a few grams managed to sneak in here and there, but nothing intentional or addiction driven. I did, however, how do I want to say this? The whole adventure cemented my belief harder than ever that you never cure an addiction, ever. Once addicted, always addicted. The best you can do is get it in remission, put it to sleep. But it's a sleeping giant. It's always there. We don't tend to think about that when it comes to eating. We certainly think about it that way when it comes to drugs and alcohol. I think addiction in general, you must abstain if you're a hard addict. And if you can control it without abstaining, you're not an addict. You might have a preponderance to it, but you're not an addict. Because not everybody is addicted so hard. Jem says, pork rinds good for breading fish or chicken. Yes, they certainly are. And I have a number of videos where I show how I bread things with pork rinds and deep fry them in bacon fat. Yum. That's delicious. Looking for questions. What am I up to here? 9 o'clock. Still only 20 minutes behind. Ori, Boo, Target, Prime Rib. CB chimed in. Hi, CB. How are you here now? Late though. That's all right, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. And big man, Alaska's in here. Morning, Mitch. It's coffee time for me. And yes, it is really early out there in Alaska. Are you 4 hours behind? Wow, wow. Congratulations. Jetmet says, Dr. Oz and RFK will see how they do with healthcare and health issues. Well, I have mixed feelings about Mehmet Oz. Kind of like the way I have mixed feelings about Dr. Phil. There's, at heart, I think they're both much more positives than negatives, but sometimes Oz was a little scammy. I never watched him on a regular basis, but some of the stuff he's pushed over the years was a little commercialized and maybe not the best medically, but he's certainly more qualified than most to be a part of the decision-making, I think. Rick, man, went early today, Mitch. Yeah, Rick, I'm back to 8:30. I like it better. Attendance is about the same, and we'll see how that works out. And this is nice. Cordelia says, thank you for the gift membership. You're very welcome. We'll see you tomorrow night, the private community. And if you notice in the chat, your name is now green. And that means that any post that is for private community members only, you will see in your feed. Deborah Wisegal says, thank you, Mitch, for providing a place for us to connect. I love this community. I'm not able to be all in yet, but I'm getting there. Well, you're just what we're for. To help you help you get all in. You're the people that I think this benefit the most from this, especially if you have questions or you're struggling, especially over the first week or two of trying to live without carbohydrates and suffering through your body giving you hell and rebelling like crazy. Aaron, I'm going to be on Kilt's morning show this Friday, she says, if I wake up in time. Well, if you're on the show, set your alarm clock, sweetie, because if I'm up in time, I will watch it. Usually, when I get up, my morning routine does not include TV until sometime after 7. I catch a little more I caught the last little bit of his live stream today. With that lawyer, politician, carnivore guy. I forgot his name already. But I'll try to remember Friday morning. Now, I have a live stream Friday morning, but that's way afterwards. So hopefully I'll see you there, and I hope everybody else will too. Dan Galasso is here. Hey, all, happy Wednesday. Glad to see you. CB is chatting. Julia Wigger is here. How you doing? Good afternoon from the United Kingdom. Good to see you. Everybody saying hi to everybody else. Charles Faircloth is here. Hi, Charles. Good morning, everyone, he says. And Judith Haynes chimed in. Hi from Michigan. Good to see you. Here's Roger's super chat. Thank you so much, Roger. I appreciate that. Very nice of you. Michael Blade. Wow. Hi, Michael. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, man. Long time. Lois from New York is here. Sorry I'm late. What did I miss? Start over. Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. Drink it if you got it. Okay, how's that, Louis? Anything for you, my friend? And we're scrolling, and we're scrolling, and we're scrolling. We're scrolling, and everybody's saying hi. That's what I like to see. I like to see a lot of interaction. And God, you guys never disappoint in that arena. Louis says, which book? I think you're referring to the Ansel and Margaret Keyes cookbook on how to eat well and stay well. The good news is they both lived to be a ripe old age. Ansel lived to be 100. The bad news is I don't think he really followed any of his advice, because those that are following, he lived in Italy the last 37 or 38 years of his life, eating certainly not a low protein diet, not a junk food diet, not a ultra processed food diet, not a high sugar diet, but more like the Mediterranean diet, which is what this cookbook, when you read it, is really promoting. And the recipes are all the things that people who lived in Italy ate, and the cooking methods that they used, especially with the plants they ate, to eliminate most of the toxins. We knew how to do it in 1950 and 60 until the offshoot of the diet hard hypothesis kind of outlawed fat entirely and salt from our diet and had us turning towards seed oils and sugars to replace the protein that we weren't getting. And the rest is history. So that's the book. Louis? 9/11. Oh, way behind again. Holy mackerel, I would have better hurry up here. What's that? That old saying? The hurrier I go, the behinder I get. Michael Blaze, one of my old drone buddies. Have you been flying a drone lately? Glad I caught you live this morning. No, Mike, I've been flying my drone for a while, and right now I'm recovering from that stroke I had 3 months ago, and my right hand isn't working quite good enough yet to be accurate enough to fly an FPV drone. I could fly a camera drone, no problem, but I haven't really flown much since I got into this Carnivore channel thing. But I always love it when I see a name from the past, a blast from the past. Back when I was a drone channel, and one of these days, I'll have to get some cool drone footage out and just play a 2 or 3 minute clip of it on my morning live stream, so you guys should get a little inkling of what I used to do, if any of you are interested. Glad is here. Hi, Alat. Didn't say hi to you yet. Good to see you this morning. I won't put it up there, but I'm following Peter's post. Thank you, Peter. Hey, here we have a Carbohydrates Anonymous confession from Big Man, Alaska. Hi, my name's Big John, and I'm addicted to carbohydrates and sugars. I use the carnivore diet and fasting to hopefully live longer. Lisa, I'll say Lisa, would all question, what pan is that? Allow me to show you. I'll go ahead and get it up here. Okay, get to my website. Hang on 1 second. And Switch over to that screen. There is my website, Old Guy Carnivore, links to stuff I use every day. And here are subcategories: t-shirts, supplements, food and pantry staples, kitchen, small appliances, and tools. Well, that's where it would be. And we go down, and there's all the different things that I use. And if you want one, you get them through these links, and they pay me a few pennies. It's great. Enough of you do this, it actually adds up to something that makes it worthwhile. This is the pan, the Mueller 12-inch German stone coated cooking. It is today for $35. It has occasionally goes down to $25. At $35, it's a deal. At $100, it would compare with other pans that they sell for $100. Usually with Gordon Ramsay or somebody's name on them, $150. It is a terrific pan. It is completely PFAS free. There are no forever chemicals in this. It is great nonstick. I buy them 2 at a time when they're on sale and keep them. I still have a couple of brand new ones. About every 6 months to a year, depending on how hard I am on it, I will replace it because it gets a little discolored. For this kind of money, which is about as expensive as a ribeye or two, I consider it an exposable kitchen item, and I don't hesitate to throw them away and pull out a new one every time. If you follow that link, you go in here. It's a fabulous pan. Comes in a lot of different colors. It comes in 10-inch size. This color is gray. It comes in black, gray. I don't know what the difference in that one is, but they're great quality pans. Mueller. You'll love them. So thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. And I can close that up. But that's how you use my Amazon links if you want to buy something. And if you want to buy some or even look at something, and you click one of those links and it opens up a browser window, once that happens, if you stay in that window and don't buy what was on my link, but go shopping for other things, I still get paid a small commission on everything that you buy, as long as you don't close that browser window. Because Amazon says, basically, Mitch brought you to Amazon, so we'll pay him for what you buy. So if you want to go shopping on Amazon and you want to help me and you don't want to spend any money, per se, you can go to my website, find the link. In fact, I've had people tell me that they have replaced their link to Amazon.com with the link to my links page. And whenever they go to Amazon, they click that and then put in what they want to buy, and I get credit for it. It doesn't cost them a penny more. Great. I don't guess I got too many people doing that because most days I look at my commissions from Amazon for the previous day, and it's $2 or $3. I mean, every little bit helps, but certainly not significantly. But that's not why I'm here. That just helps me out. And my father used to say to me all the time, Mitch, if you don't ask, you don't get. I found that to be very, very true. I hate to ask. I wish I was rolling in dough, didn't have to ask. But life hasn't been that, in the end, that good to me. But thank you for asking. Tired Rick was watching and thought his clock was wrong. Yeah, we got something new. We went back to Eastern Standard Time. Everybody set their clocks last night but you, Rick. You didn't get the word, evidently. No, just kidding. Just kidding, folks. Jem has a question. Mitch, are you ready to fly Kiltsey's plane? In a minute, I can get into Kiltsey's plane. It's been a long time since I flew my own plane, but you don't forget. You certainly don't forget, not with all the flying I've done, but I've flown a plane similar to Kelsey's already years ago. I'm agile enough where I can climb into the co-pilot seat. And for those of you who don't think you need to be agile to climb in a co-pilot seat, you've never tried to climb in a co-pilot seat over the console and everything else you got to do. But I can do that. And one of these days when Kelsey finds his way around here, I will go for a ride with him. Yeah. And it was so nice of him to ask. So nice of him to ask. Thank you, Jim, for reminding me. Big Man Alaska bought a Carnivore gift membership. Thank you, Big Man Alaska. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. It's good to have you here. And wish you the best of luck, man. Rainey says, do you eat chicken or lamb or anything else? I heard you say salmon and bacon and beef. Oh, yeah, I eat chicken. In fact, yesterday, I placed an order at Sam's Club to deliver it to me. It's really interesting. You know, they use these contracted delivery services. They don't employ people. They're people who are just come in and sign. Once they've been approved, I guess they just go to whenever they want to. They go pick these things up. Some of them make deliveries for a lot of different places at the same time. And I've never seen the same delivery person twice. And I would say maybe one out of more than 5, less than 10 of them speaks absolutely no English. Could you bring this in the house for me? Bring it over here. It's so hard. Put it over there. I don't know. You have to use sign language and pointing a lot with them. And that was the guy yesterday. The guy yesterday must have had 3 or 4 other deliveries in his little car at the same time as he had mine. It took him 15 minutes digging through crap in that car to actually find my delivery, which was yesterday. 3 dozen pasture-raised eggs, 4 pounds of Sam's Wright's extra thick hickory smoked bacon, and 2 trays of chicken breasts that weighed at least 6 pounds each or more. I have 8 vacuum sealed bags now of 3 not breasts, but thighs. Excuse me. Person thought I eat a chicken breast. Chicken thighs with skin on them. I have 3 packages of 8 vacuum sealed in my freezer now. All of those chicken thighs, the 2 flats, 6 or 7 pounds each, came out to 24 chicken thighs. 8 meals of 3 each cost, ready? $16. $16 for 8 meals, the cost of 1 average ribeye these days. And I love them. I take them and I sprinkle a little garlic salt on them. One of the very few times I use any seasoning other than pure salt. I use this Kinder stuff. I get it at Sam's. It has a little bit of black pepper in it, salt, and a little garlic. I sprinkle it on the skin. I don't put any other kind of oil, fat, grease, or anything. I just throw them in the air fryer. 30 minutes. 30 minutes at 375 degrees. I don't flip them, turn them, or do anything. They get cooked all the way around. with no fuss. They are fabulous. They are so tasty. You got all that skin full of fat. May not be as nutritious as bacon and eggs, but maybe once or twice a week, it makes a hell of a deal for $2. I've made a video about that. There are things you can do to make this diet cheap. Not many things as cheap as these chicken thighs, but for some reason, they're $1.25 a pound, where chicken wings cost 5 times as much and have half as much meat on them. The dark meat is so good on the chicken thighs. They're so juicy and tasty. I love them. I love them. And when I go off on things like that, I get further behind. Peter's talking about bulletproof coffee. Oh, I love you, Peter. Every other entry in the chat is you right now, where I'm going right now. Here's 2 in a row, Peter. Sorry, I don't mean to get on you. I appreciate you being here, especially when you say things like Mitch is the best. Yes, sir. Mitch is my brother from another mother. How the hell do you manage to type all that? You must have voice typing that actually works. I'm telling you, I'm a one-handed typist now. If I can't use the voice typing, I don't want to type it. Big Man Alaska, there's the Carnivore gift membership. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. 9:31, closing in on it. Big Man Alaska, thank you so much. Time to get dressed and go to work. God bless all of you, and I pray for good health for all of you. And we wish you the same, my friend. Okay, Peter says, no, I want to lay low for now and let others go. Thank you, Peter. Until 2 texts later where Peter says, glad to see you, BMA. And 3 texts later, Peter says, I'm just glad to be back in the chat again. Yes, Peter. And 2 texts later, Peter says, loves and hearts. So, Peter, I can't help it, Peter. I can't help it. But you are welcome here. There's no doubt about it. You're behaving yourself, and you haven't done anything that would make me wish you'd go away. So you continue to come in here, and thanks for the support. You know I love you. You got the message. Homesick Buckeye. Russ. Oh, I know Russ. Yeah, he's a character. He is a character. Terry Sue said, Russ is very cool, and he's growing on me as well. I met him down there in Sarasota. Interesting guy. Homesick Buckeye. Peter's making rounds. Yep, Peter also met him in Sarasota at the barbecue there, like I did. Mitch and I smoked cigars outside after the barbecue was mostly over. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. I enjoyed every minute of it. Yeah, but that's a question. I miss seeing you smoke a cigar. Do you smoke? Yes, I do. I've cut back. Try to keep it to 1 cigar a day. I'm not convinced that the level I smoke cigars and not inhaling is going to be all that harmful. Yeah, I know I've heard all the shit about secondhand smoking. You absorb all those chemicals and 10,000 carcinogens and all that shit. And evidently nobody told my grandfather about that. With a 5-cigar-a-day habit for 50 years, he lived to be 102 and died from anything but cigar smoking. It's not like cigarette smoking. Your vocal cords don't get shot. You're not inhaling smoke across them your whole life. You don't have a voice like this, like most smokers have, which they call smoker's voice. We talked about it. I think it's more harmful to get in your car and drive in traffic. I think that the pollution that you breathe in when you're out amongst all the cars is a hell of a lot worse for you than sitting and puffing on a cigar. I've been doing it for 55 years. No, it did not cause my stroke. And no, I'm not going to give it up, but I am going to cut back. And part of the reason I'm cutting back is it's frigging expensive to smoke cigars. Very expensive. And I think more than anything else, that's the main reason I'm cutting back. And you can get in the habit of it, even though I don't think I'm addicted to any nicotine, because it was effortless for me to not smoke cigars when I was in the hospital. I never gave them a passing thought. At the same time, a great percentage of the healthcare professionals that worked in the hospital were always congregating outside in the one area they designated as a smoking area, and puffing on their cigarettes, obviously needing a fix. I never had the first thought of it. I can quit. I know it sounds like every addict on the planet. I can quit anytime I want. Why don't you quit? I don't want to. Well, that's the way I feel about cigars. But I can quit, and I have. For example, if I generally, one time I remember I had dental work done. I had implant put in. And Stan, my buddy, the dentist, said, it'd be better if you didn't smoke cigars for a couple of weeks. I said, okay. And I didn't smoke anything for a couple of weeks, and I didn't miss it. At that point, I said, maybe this would be a great time to give up cigars. On this shoulder. On this shoulder. Why the hell you want to give up cigars? You enjoy them so much. It's the only pleasure you have in life, Mitch. Don't listen to that other guy. So I didn't. I still smoke the cigars. The reason you don't see me smoking cigars anymore is, Jemmett, is that I was doing that. I don't smoke in the house. I'm in the house now. I was doing my live streams from outside, so I could smoke the cigars. I can't, in my stroked out recovering condition now, I can't carry all that shit outside to set up the studio in the morning. I suppose once in a while I could use my tablet. Just go out there without all the fancy shadow on the screen and backdrops and good sound and all that music and that stuff, and just do a plain old live stream, smoke a cigar. But I got the studio. I like to use the studio. All right, now I'm getting even further behind. What time is it? 9:42. Yeah. Oh, no, catching up. 110 people. That's just the most I've had this morning. So, Jem says, I think cigars are. Oh, there's no doubt about it. Unless you were a cigarette smoker, and so many of them that switch to cigars still inhale them. If I inhale a puff accidentally, I'm liable to cough up a lung, because I never inhaled. I know that sounds familiar to you. The one time I tried pot, I did inhale. It was not a pleasant experience. Every once in a while, I accidentally, when I'm smoking a cigar, breathe in a little. I cough like crazy, so I can't inhale. I don't want to learn how. But cigar smokers who were cigarette smokers and are addicted, I think, will inhale them. In that case, it's not good. But most people who smoke cigars do not inhale them. They puff them for the aroma, just for the relaxing nature of what they do. Sybil V is here. Good morning, Mitch. Some of the people are chiming in now. I thought I started at 9:30 maybe. Yes, look at all the people, 116 of you now. Scotter's here. How you doing? No, we've been doing this since 8:30. Everybody will get used to it. Barry Simon says, Mitch, my cousin works at a cigar store. I knew, in all those years I've been smoking, I known a lot of cigar store owners and employees. I don't think I would want to work in a cigar store because you're constantly breathing in a lot of smoke. Many of them have good, really good smoke eaters. And when I used to go to a cigar lounge, I made sure they had the smoke eaters and the ventilation. But when you walk into some of these places and it's foggy inside, can't be very healthy for long periods of time. I wouldn't do it. And the people that work in these stores or own them and have been for a lot of years, there may or may not be some adverse effects from that. Jem says, I can't smoke anything but meat. And there are those out there who tell us that you shouldn't eat smoked meats, it's going to kill you. Everybody's always got advice based on their own agenda, and I don't guess we're any different. And I have reached the end of the chat. Claudia Burkick and Ori and Peter. Lori says, hook Mitch up, Barry. All right, guys, now that more people are piling in, it's time to say, see you tomorrow night. I enjoyed it. The time really flies. I can't believe it's 10 minutes to 10 already. Wow, wow, wow. My fishing buddy, retired Rick, says smokes cigarettes. He smokes one after another. He's a chain smoker. I've been trying to get him to stop. You mean he smokes those little cigar-looking cigarettes, but they treat them like cigarettes. Anybody that's a chain smoker is obviously addicted to nicotine and is inhaling them. You can usually tell real quick. You get an old guy, get somebody my age. You can tell if they have been a smoker who inhaled the smoke by the sound of their voice. My mother was a heavy smoker, smoked Pall Malls, no filter, I mean hardcore, 2-3 packs a day. Everybody smoked when I was a kid. It was accepted, so it wasn't like she was trying to protect me from it. So I grew up in a house where my father didn't smoke, but my mother did. She died young, 66. She got cancer. She's also a sugar addict, which may have contributed to her cancer. She was a nervous wreck. She'd had nervous breakdowns. My father was the opposite. He was very stoic, type B personality. My mother was a doer. Go, 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 go. She would take amphetamines to get her up, seeking out and get her to sleep. Every bad habit known to man, except alcohol. She didn't drink socially, but never saw her take a drink for the sake of a drink. And 66, 8 years before that, when she was 58, she got sick, and nobody could figure out what it was. Took her 4 years to even get it diagnosed. She finally went to the Anderson Clinic in Houston, Texas, which cancer specialist, and they diagnosed her as having non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. This was the type of cancer that was relatively rare back in those days, not well known, and the chemotherapy they had back in those days was kind of barbaric. And she suffered so for the last 4 years of her life with that chemo that I think she was ready to die, and died at 66. I don't know if the smoking, it wasn't lung cancer, but how much the smoking contributed to that, I don't know. How much the sugar, because she was addicted to sugar. We had a closet full of cookies that was incredible. It's just why I'm a carb addict today. I grew up as a kid with a preponderance of that shit around the house, always. The cookie closet, we called it. It was a closet that had nothing in it but cookies. It looked like a cookie aisle at the grocery store. My mother was hard addicted to that stuff. My father could care less about it. My mother was always thin because she was so nervous and taking amphetamines. She would take meprobamate and Equino and seeking all to go to sleep, and God knows what else she was popping. And my father, being a pharmacist, made it very easy for her to maintain her habit without the interference of any stupid doctor that might say, you know, her name was Dottie. You know, Dottie, maybe you should cut back on that shit. And she didn't, and who knows what killed her. The combination of all of that, I guess. But it was very sad for me to lose my mother at such a young age. But I did learn a lesson from that. I did learn a lesson from it. Claudia says, I'm so sorry, Mitch. My dad had Don Hodgkin's. Well, in the early 2000s. Yeah, this was back in the early 80s. My mother had it, late 70s. They now have tremendous treatment protocols for that. The survival rate is way up there, 89%. The rescission rate, 80, 90%. They have much better regimens of chemotherapy. And most people have it just like leukemia. They survive it. Back when my mother had it, they could hardly even diagnose it at the time. And her chances of surviving long-term were very, very slim. The best thing, however, would have been for her to have eaten healthy and not gotten it in the first place. You know, we all talk about how great medical science is because we keep developing ways to treat these horrible things that are pretty much caused by metabolic disorder and poor diet. And we all give awards and Nobel Prizes to these people and companies that keep coming up with better and better treatments for cancer when we could really eliminate most cancers by eliminating all the chemicals in sugar we eat. They don't make that connection. There's no money in it. That's the problem. Nobody is going to put much effort into anything unless they can profit from it. It's a sad truth. It's the reason why RFK Jr. and our government are not going to solve this problem overnight because there's too much money in the status quo. We know that. That's why we're here, all 100 of us, trying to say to ourselves and acknowledging, well, the world is the way it is. The food sucks. We're all sick, getting sick, eating that food. We have finally learned we need to depart, take a separate path from the rest of humanity if we're going to survive. And that's about the best we can do because the rest of them, the herd, the millions of them, are going to continue with very little or no change, doing just what they're doing to feed their alcohol, drug, and especially food addictions. Unfortunately, we need to take care of ourselves. We're like the French resistance that lived in bunkers during World War II while the rest of the people got bombed out of existence. And that's the reality of our situation, at least for mine, for the remainder of my life. The best that might happen is that some food additives might be outlawed. But that won't happen for a couple of years because even with these petroleum-based food dyes, they've given the food industry a couple of years to come up with an alternative before it goes into effect. That's kind of silly. Well, we know you're poisoning people to make the food colorful, but we understand if you made the food thus colorful, it'd be too much of a financial hardship on your business. What hardship would it be to stop using these poisonous food dyes? None. The only hardship is from the fact that the breakfast cereals wouldn't be as bright and colorful, and you may suffer some sales because of that. Is that the reason why we need to wait 2 years? Or can we just say, listen, the hell with your kids. Your kids are just going to have to learn to eat breakfast cereals that aren't bright red and yellow. Can't you as a parent control your children? Let us take the poison out of the food now. But no, our society looks at the money first and bitching of the food companies and how long it's going to take them to try to find a dye that will make the fucking, excuse my French, food cheaper and just as colorful, but isn't petroleum-based. Our priorities are not in order. And you can tell by that slip of that F-bomb how passionate I am about the stupidity of how the whole system works. But I'm a happy guy, and I'm positive for my life, and I'm just trying to influence those that are closest to me, in my family especially, and even failing to do that too well. I guess it's time to say goodbye, because we're all talking about people we've lost. I don't want to go there. I want to have a happy note. Maybe we need some happy music. A big smile. Another sip of coffee. And let me hide the last comment on there. So my friends, we made it till 10 o'clock, a half an hour overtime. I don't mind. It's going to be standard and normal. Takes me that long to get through the whole chat. Terry Sue is bleeping Mitch's cuss word. We're all big adults here and can stand that. The amount of times I hear that every day on TV is astounding. I say to myself, that's a normal part of everyday language now. Why are we making such a big deal out of it? It is a universal adjective, and sometimes no other word will do. So, if you want to X-rate this, go right ahead. It would make any difference to me. So everybody saying goodbye. Charles Faircloth, Movie Ghost, Claudia Burkick says thank you. Tammy Petarch, thank you. Mitch Retired. Rick says goodbye. Catch you on Friday, says Rick. I'll be here back on Friday. I'll be tomorrow night in the private community. Peter says goodbye. And yes, what I heard the music and came over too late. Okay, we'll see you on Friday. Terry Sue, happy hump day, you all. Sybil V. And that will have it. That'll do it. So, we will end this on a high note. If I missed any of your questions, I'm sorry. I tried to say hi to everybody. I hope I succeeded. Until tomorrow night for the private community, and then Friday morning at 8:30 for you guys, the rest of you. I have some sage advice. Take the rest of the day off, number one. And the second part of that is eat meat.